It was the first night of my marriage. As I stepped into the room and quietly closed the door behind me, the world outside seemed to vanish. Silence wrapped the room, broken only by the soft sound of my own footsteps. My bride sat at the edge of the bed, head bowed, her delicate hands folded in her lap. The shimmer of her bridal dress reflected in the dim light, yet her eyes remained lowered, filled with shyness and uncertainty. I took a slow breath, walked gently toward her, and sat beside her with a calm smile, hoping my presence would ease her nervousness. On the table nearby was a glass of milk. I lifted it and extended it toward her. She hesitated for a moment, her hands trembling slightly, and whispered in a voice so soft it barely reached my ears. "You first." A smile tugged at my lips. With a playful glance, I raised the glass close to her lips, letting her sip first. A faint mark of lipstick colored the rim. Without hesitation, I placed my lips on the same spot, drinking from the trace she had left behind. She lowered her face instantly, but the soft curve of a smile betrayed her hidden emotions. That small, shy gesture was enough to spark warmth between us. From my pocket, I took out a small velvet box. Opening it carefully, I revealed a delicate bracelet. Taking her hand gently into mine, I could feel the nervous pulse racing beneath her skin. Her fingers were soft, fragile, as though they might slip away if I did not hold them with care. With slow tenderness, I slipped the bracelet onto her wrist. Then, I raised her chin, guiding her face upward so her eyes finally met mine. "You are even more beautiful than I ever imagined," I whispered, my voice filled with awe. "You are the queen of my dreams." Her lips parted in a shy smile, her eyes sparkling with a mixture of relief and happiness. For the first time that night, the tension seemed to dissolve, replaced by an unspoken bond. We performed our night prayer together, side by side, bowing in worship and silently asking for blessings for our future. When we sat again, I placed food before us. She remained hesitant, her hands folded, her head slightly bowed. I lifted a spoonful of rice and with gentle insistence raised it toward her. She looked up briefly, her cheeks coloring, before accepting the bite. Her lips brushed against the spoon, and she quickly lowered her eyes again, but I saw the faintest glow of happiness spreading across her face. Each small act drew us closer, two strangers no longer, but companions beginning a shared journey. During the meal, she suddenly broke the silence with a trembling question. You will never leave me, will you?" The words were soft, yet heavy, carrying the fear hidden in her heart. My throat tightened and I felt tears sting my eyes. I turned slightly aside to wipe them away before she could notice. Then, looking back at her, I spoke with all the honesty my soul carried. "Silly girl, you are my life. If I were ever to let you go, I would lose myself as well." Her head bent lower, as though embarrassed by the depth of her own question, yet a soft smile curved her lips. That single smile felt like the first dawn of trust. Later, she began to remove her jewelry. Her fingers fumbled slightly with the necklace at her throat. Reaching forward, I helped unclasp it. She trembled faintly at the touch of my hands, her breath quickening. I leaned closer, my words brushing softly against her ear. "These ornaments are beautiful," I said, "but now you are my greatest treasure. You are my true adornment." A soft laugh escaped her lips, half shy, half relieved. In that moment, her nervousness melted into something deeper, a quiet acceptance of love. After dinner, the night deepened, but our hearts had only just begun to open. She lowered her gaze as though she feared to meet my eyes directly. I moved closer, brushing away the silence with gentle words. She leaned back slightly against the pillows, still hesitant, but I reached for her hand once more. Holding it firmly yet softly, I whispered, "All I ask from you is respect and loyalty. Can you promise me that?" She lifted her face slowly, her eyes glistening under the dim light. "Yes," she replied in a trembling voice. "I will never give you a reason to complain." I smiled warmly, touched by her honesty. "If you keep these two promises," I said, "I will treat you like a queen for the rest of my life." She gave a soft nod, her lips curving into a smile that carried trust. That smile, fragile yet brave, carved itself into my memory forever. She rested her head against my shoulder, and I pulled her gently into my arms. Her presence felt like a melody I had waited my entire life to hear. The fragrance of her hair, the warmth of her touch, the beating of her heart. It was as though the universe itself had stilled, leaving only the two of us in that sacred moment. Slowly, her breathing softened, her body relaxing in the shelter of my embrace. She drifted into sleep, one hand resting lightly on my chest, the other curled beside her. I watched her for hours, unwilling to close my eyes, finding peace in the simple act of waiting for her to wake. For the first time in my life, waiting was not suffering. It was joy. When she stirred awake, startled by the lateness of the hour, I reassured her with a smile. "Don't worry," I whispered. "Every day, every night from this moment forward belongs to us." Together we rose, performed our prayer, and recited verses from the Quran. We asked Allah for blessings, for guidance, and for strength in the journey ahead. As we prayed side by side, I felt an unbreakable bond forming, not only of love but of faith. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Slowly, she shed the last traces of fear, learning to laugh freely in my presence. I taught her how to cook, standing beside her in the kitchen, laughing when she made mistakes, encouraging her with patience. She confessed one day with shy laughter, "I never knew how to cook before marriage." I smiled, brushing her worry away. "Then that is even better. We will learn together, and every meal will carry both our hands." She laughed, her eyes glowing with relief and happiness. Her parents welcomed me like a son, their kindness enveloping me in warmth I had never expected. My parents, too, embraced her as a daughter, showering her with affection. Our home became more than just walls and a roof. It became a haven where love was the foundation, and respect the roof under which we lived. One evening, she asked me with hesitant eyes, "Has there ever been another girl in your life?" I paused for a moment before replying honestly, "Yes, once. She was my first love. But today, all of me belongs to you. From this moment, the world will envy your destiny, for my heart is yours alone." She listened, then smiled softly, leaning her head on my shoulder. "I am glad you told me the truth. I prayed for a husband who would be honest and loyal, and Allah granted me that wish." Years passed, and still our hearts remained free of bitterness. 3 years into our marriage, not a single quarrel left a scar on our bond. She became the pride of my parents, the daughter they never had, and I became the strength of hers. We stood side by side in every joy and trial, companions not only in love but in life. At last, I realized the true essence of marriage. It is not wealth, nor beauty, nor fleeting desires that sustain it. It is respect, trust, and unwavering love. A husband must make his wife feel safe, valued, and cherished, and a wife must honor her husband's heart and never betray his trust. When both walk this path together, their home becomes a paradise on earth. And so as I look back, I whisper the same message to every couple. Treasure each other, for love is not about possession, but about devotion. Respect each other, For honor is the crown of every marriage, and above all, build a bond so strong that no trial of this world can break it.